morning and welcome to another program of Light and Life, program for the third age, coming to you from Melbourne, Channel 31. Our aim is to provide information about health and well-being, relationships, sharing experiences with the community and entertainment. To begin the program today, we have a dance from the Vishwa Rangayatanaya.
जगन्मोहिनी मधुर भाषिणी चारु देहिनी कमल वासिनी सरस्वती देवी वंदे सरस्वती देवी कंचन माला कूजित किंकिनी नूपुर जाला कंपित कंचन माला कूजित किंकिनी नूपुर जाला पाद सरोदे कठी तटाके पाद सरोदे कठी तटाके चंचल नर्तन लीला चंचल नर्तन लीला पंकज रूपाकुल अंकिक कुंकुम रेखा मीन मकर पंकज रूपाकुल अंकिक कुंकुम रेखा पूर्ण कुंभ मिव पीन पयोधर पूर्ण कुंभ मिव पीन पयोधर पूरितामृत धारा पूरितामृत धारा साधन पुण्य मूर्तिधर सुरकुल वर अभिरूपा भाग्य साधन पुण्य मूर्तिधर सुरकुल वर अभिरूपा देहि देहि वरदायक हस्ते देहि देहि वरदायक हस्ते शुभ मंगल मुद्रा शुभ मंगल मुद्रा
Next, we have Kingsley Edrivira bringing you some significant events from around the world.
Here is the World News Roundup. President Maithripala Sirisena has appointed 27 cabinet ministers, 10 state ministers and 8 deputy ministers at a ceremony held at the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo, where the parliamentarians took oath. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was sworn in as the Minister of Planning and Economic Development before President Maithripala Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat. Mr. Mangala Samaravira was sworn in as the External Affairs Minister, Ravi Karunanayaka as Minister of Finance, Karu Jayasuriya as Buddha Sasana Minister, Joseph Michael Pereira as Home Affairs Minister, and Champika Ranawaka was sworn in as Power and Energy Minister, while Rajitha Senaratne was sworn in as Health and Indigenous Medicine Minister. Huge crowds turned out in the Sri Lankan capital when Pope Francis celebrated Mass, at which he canonized first saint. The Pope canonized 17th century missionary Joseph Vaz at the seafront service in Colombo, the first saint of Sri Lanka. Although Sri Lanka has claimed him as its first saint, Vaz was actually born in Goa on India's west coast, then a Portuguese colony. He went to Sri Lanka in 1687 to minister to the scattered faith after Dutch colonizers who had seized the island's coastal areas from the Portuguese began persecuting Catholics. The Indian economy is likely to expand by 6.4% this year, driving the economic growth in South Asia, according to a United Nations report which said progress in implementing much needed structural reforms is likely to boost India's economic performance in 2015. South and Southwest Asia could witness an economic growth of 5.3% in 2015, which will be a 4-year high. The UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific has said in its survey of Asia and Pacific 2014 that the positive outlook is mainly led by an increase in growth in India. The Indian economy is likely to expand by 6.4% in 2015 as compared to 5.5% last year. Pupils and teachers have returned for the first time in the school in Pakistan's city of Peshawar, where more than 150 people were killed last month. A ceremony was held to remember the victims of the Taliban attack of 16th December. The Pakistani government has made changes after the attack last month. It has scrapped a moratorium on executions and moved to establish military courts to try terrorism cases. A senior US official has said that Cuba has released all 53 prisoners it had promised to free under an exchange agreement with the United States. The announcement comes ahead of historic talks aimed at normalizing relations after decades of hostility. US officials, speaking to reporters on condition of anonymity, did not say how many prisoners were released over the weekend or identify them. The officials said the White House will provide the names of all 53 to Congress and expects lawmakers to make them public. That is the end of the World News Roundup.